Everyone is talking about the Netflix documentary on Diddy. Social media is on fire. Reactions are everywhere, and many people believe they finally know the whole truth. But what if the documentary only showed you part of the story? What if some of the most important details were quietly left out? For years, 50 Cent hasn't just been trolling Diddy for attention. Behind the viral jokes, sharp interviews, sarcastic posts lies a much deeper rivalry, one rooted in power. Money, industry, politics, and old grudges that never faded. The Netflix documentary touches the surface of this conflict, but it carefully avoids the most uncomfortable areas. Why does 50 Cent keep pushing this narrative even now? Why are certain accusations only hinted at, while others are completely ignored? And most importantly, who benefits from keeping some stories off the screen? Between broken alliances, controversial claims, and very telling silences, this is more than just hip-hop beef. It's a behind-the-scenes power struggle that goes far beyond music. What you're about to hear are the blind spots of the documentary, the parts that raise questions, make people uncomfortable, and could completely change how you see both Diddy and 50 Cent. When 50 Cent's Netflix documentary came out, it felt like the whole world was ready to see hip-hop history through his eyes. Fans cheered, critics analyzed every frame, and the title promised a truth we'd never seen before. But behind the footage, interviews, and dramatic edits, there's a story the doc doesn't fully tell, and that's where things get really interesting to start. You need to understand the context. 50 Cent and Diddy aren't just hip-hop legends. They represent two completely different visions of the music industry. Diddy is the visionary businessman, building empires and shaping culture for decades. 50 Cent is the street warrior. It's a raw storyteller who doesn't hold back and tells his version of events without filter. When these two worlds collide, clash is inevitable. The documentary shows certain confrontations and public statements, but leaves out key details that explain the tension more deeply. Insiders from labels and former collaborators have told people close to them that some of Diddy's strategies long irritated 50 Cent. Controversial contracts, media partnerships, and promotional decisions allegedly slowed down projects 50 Cent believed in. This isn't just an ego battle, it's about who controls the story and who holds the power in the industry. The doc edits moments for drama, but behind the camera, subtle discussions show careful, strategic tension. 50 Cent's on-screen reactions may look spontaneous and harsh, but they reflect years of observation, grudges, and planning. Also, some interactions with figures like L.A. Reid or Jay-Z were left out. Certain sequences and interviews that could have given more nuance to the Diddy-50 Cent relationship were cut or summarized. This guides viewers to see Diddy one way while glorifying 50 Cent as the one telling the truth. It's a subtle example of how editing can shape public perception. There's also the issue of industry alliances. The documentary makes it seem like some people were neutral or just watching, but sources confirm that key players were actively involved, sometimes behind the scenes, to support or block Diddy's initiatives. These invisible moves show a silent war full of strategy, shifting loyalties, and hidden rivalries. Finally, consider the cultural impact the documentary claims to have. 50 Cent wants to show the truth and highlight past injustices. But Netflix doesn't fully show how this affects younger audiences. New fans see Diddy and 50 Cent like movie characters, without realizing that behind every public decision are thousands of strategic moves, secret alliances, and business tensions that shaped urban music for decades. In short, part one of this saga doesn't tell the full story. The documentary gives a dramatic, engaging narrative, but every moment on screen has layers of strategy, grudges, and calculated moves behind it. Understanding this makes it clear the Diddy versus 50 Cent clash isn't just personal, it's a battle of vision, power, and control in the music industry. And Netflix only shows part of it, as the Netflix doc keeps trending. Part 2 focuses on what's never shown on screen: the strategies, secret alliances and unspoken tensions behind the rivalry. If you thought you'd seen the full truth, think again. The behind-the-scenes story is much more complex and calculated. 50 Cent doesn't just tell stories or show disputes. Every scene is planned, every angle chosen to send a clear message. Experts say this documentary was designed as a strategic tool as much as a personal story. 50 Cent wanted to show his side while influencing how the public sees Diddy, portraying him as calculating or manipulative without saying it outright. This is a lesson in hip-hop storytelling. Show without explaining. Hint without proving. Another part Netflix ignores is the hidden collaborations and conflicts in the industry. Sources close to labels say Diddy has long used his influence to control artists and key projects. Some contracts in the doc look harmless, but were actually power plays, limiting opportunities for those who could threaten his empire. 50 Cent saw this as betrayal or obstruction, explaining his harsh reactions on screen. The documentary also downplays the role of middle figures like L.A. Reid or Jay-Z by cutting some conversations or showing only selected clips. Netflix makes viewers think Diddy acts alone, while 50 Cent is the voice of truth. In reality, several key players supported or blocked Diddy behind the scenes, showing how editing can manipulate perception even in a supposedly real doc. Tensions go beyond business. They touch loyalty and cultural storytelling. 50 Cent claims Diddy manipulates history to protect his image. But 50 Cent himself controls the narrative in his doc, choosing clips that make him look right. Every moment, interview, and clip is designed to strengthen his story. This creates a silent war over perception. Who controls what the public believes? Insiders also confirm that many interactions between Diddy and 50 Cent were heavily edited or omitted. Scenes showing compromise, respect, or negotiation would have made Diddy less antagonistic and 50 Cent less heroic. Leaving them out makes the story more dramatic than reality. The rivalry doesn't just affect the past. It shapes the future of the industry. By exposing Diddy's moves, 50 Cent influences how younger artists see power and loyalty. In today's rap world, telling your story can be as powerful as your music. Every decision in the doc shows 50 Cent controlling the narrative and turning industry tension into media capital. Finally, the doc misses the ripple effects on careers and alliances. Some artists had to pick sides, others were sidelined, and some reputations were affected just by association. These invisible effects show the conflict goes beyond personalities to the whole music network. In short, this rivalry isn't personal, it's strategic. Decades in the making and carefully calculated. Netflix shows the clash, but not the depth, subtlety, or complexity. To understand the full story, you have to look beyond the screen and listen to what's left unsaid. As the documentary wraps, the real story is in what isn't shown. Diddy versus 50 Cent isn't just a personal feud, it's about control, influence, and power in the music industry. And the stakes behind the scenes are huge. Diddy is shown as the experienced strategist, but insiders say many of his visible moves are facades. He often accepted public compromises while quietly consolidating power behind the scenes, keeping his empire safe. That's why 50 Cent sees some of Diddy's moves as personal attacks. Even when they're strategic, 50 Cent, meanwhile, plays the role of narrator and observer with precision. Every clip reinforces his story and shows Diddy critically. This is about controlling public perception, not just revenge. Fans and young artists see only the dramatic version, while every detail behind the scenes shapes how the story will be remembered. The doc also ignores the impact on other artists, producers, collaborators caught in the tension. Some had to take sides, others lost opportunities, and some were marginalized. The ripple effects show the feud touches the entire music network. It also affects hip-hop culture itself. This rivalry teaches that controlling your story is as important as talent. Netflix doesn't show how this influences future generations, who now see media and image as weapons. The lesson is clear. Perception often outweighs reality in rap and music business. Cameras capture drama, but never the subtlety, patience, or long-term planning. The most important battles happen behind the scenes: alliances, narrative control, and indirect influence. In conclusion, Diddy versus 50 Cent goes beyond personal tension. It's a lesson in storytelling, strategy, and the real workings of the music industry. Netflix shows the drama, but the full story lies between the lines, where the real battle over power and perception continues to shape hip-hop today. The truth is, Netflix only shows part of the story. Diddy and 50 Cent aren't just fighting egos, they're fighting for influence, perception, and power in the music world. Now it's your turn. Do you believe 50 Cent's version? Do you see Diddy the way Netflix shows him? Or is the story edited for drama? How do you interpret this silent war that affects not just them, but everyone around them in hip-hop? Don't just watch, comment, share, and debate this explosive rivalry. Every opinion adds to the conversation that the doc can't fully show. In a world where silence and editing shape truth, your voice matters. Take a stand and join the debate, because this story isn't over.